In the heart of the savannah, in a village surrounded by thorny bushes, lived a young man named David. He was known for his strength and courage, but also for his impulsive nature. One day, as the village faced a severe drought, the elders gathered to discuss how to survive. The solution was a dangerous trek to the sacred river, miles away, where the rains were believed to begin. David, eager to prove his bravery, stood up and volunteered to make the journey. The elders warned him that many before him had failed, but he was determined. "I will return with water, or I will die trying," David vowed, unaware that his journey would change everything. David embarked on the journey, with nothing but a small pouch of food and his spear. Along the way, he encountered wild animals, fierce winds, and harsh terrain. Days passed, and hunger gnawed at him, but David pushed forward, convinced his strength alone could overcome anything. One evening, as he rested under a tree, he met an old woman who offered him water from a small flask. "You are strong, but remember, strength is nothing without wisdom," she said before disappearing into the night. David, frustrated by the old woman's cryptic words, ignored her advice and continued, determined to reach the river. After many days of suffering, David finally reached the sacred river. The water was clear, sparkling under the midday sun. He filled his pouch and looked around, but something was wrong. The land around the river was barren, and the river itself seemed to be shrinking, as if it was being drained by an unseen force. As he knelt by the river, a voice whispered in the wind, "The river does not give freely. It takes from those who seek it for selfish gain." David looked around, but saw no one. He filled his pouch, but as he began to turn back, the water began to dry up before his eyes. Panic set in. He had taken too much, and now the river had stopped flowing. With a heavy heart and a pouch full of water that seemed to evaporate by the second, David started his journey back to the village. The land was more barren now, and the animals he had once seen were gone. The voice of the river echoed in his mind, "What is taken for selfish reasons is always lost." As he approached his village, David felt weak and defeated. The villagers gathered around, waiting eagerly for him to return with water. But when he opened his pouch, nothing was left. He fell to his knees, realizing the magnitude of his arrogance and the consequences of his actions. David was called before the village elders. Instead of punishment, they asked him to speak of his journey. David admitted his mistake and explained how he had acted with pride and without listening to wisdom. The elder chief, wise and patient, said, "True strength is not in how far you can travel or how much you can take. It is in knowing when to ask for help, when to listen, and when to share. The earth gives in abundance, but it must be respected, not taken for granted." David learned that strength without humility and wisdom leads to destruction. The elders taught him that sometimes the bravest act is not to fight, but to listen and learn. He vowed to serve the village, helping with what he had, no longer seeking glory for himself, but working for the good of all. True strength is not measured by individual achievements, but by the wisdom to know when to act and when to listen. Pride leads to destruction, while humility and respect for nature bring balance and peace. We've come to the end of another captivating story, guys. Thank you for watching, and see you in the next one.